Hi, the Black Talk Media Project would like to invite you to become a member of the BTR Community subscription-based social media platform. BTR Community is a platform that was set up for the listening audience of Black Talk Radio Network, the #1 independent black radio network online. For just $24 per year, your subscription gives you access to an interactive space to share information with like-minded people with your privacy guaranteed. Your subscription will go a long way to help us maintain and improve our current media platforms. It will also help provide a budget so that we can begin the task of establishing localized media centers and radio stations across the United States. The best way to show your support and appreciation for what we do here at Black Talk Radio is to subscribe. Help us to help you be informed. Join btrcommunity.com today.
The views and opinions expressed by callers, guests, and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Would have had serious consequences for the world financial system, but may also have empowered the people of Africa, something black activists say the US wants to avoid at all costs.
We're slicing cake. We're slicing cake. We're slicing cake.
Say the US wants to avoid at all costs.
We're slicing cake.
Say the US wants to avoid at all costs.
We're slicing.
Gaddafi didn't give up. In the months leading up to the military intervention, he called on African and Muslim nations to join together to create this new currency that would rival the dollar and euro. They would sell oil and other resources around the world only for gold dinars. It's an idea that would shift the economic balance of the world. Countries' wealth would depend on how much gold they have, not how many dollars they trade. And Libya has 144 tons of gold.
Welcome everyone to Thando Radio Show, brought to you by Black Talk Radio Network. I'm your host, Dave from LA, coming to you live from FEMA region number 6. It is March the 7th, 2018. It is a Wise Wednesday. We're going to have a Wise Wednesday with Brother Davis. So if you'd like to get in on the conversation, don't hesitate. Give us a call, 704-802-5056, 704-802-5056. And I can't see the board, but when Brother Davis goes live, if you would just say, excuse me, if you have a question or comment for Brother Davis, and just make your question or comment known, which is very, very important, because a dialogue is much more important than a monologue. So definitely that's what we're going to have today. And I just want to thank you all for bearing with me for missing the past couple of days with the show. Been very, very busy. Still busy. After I do a seminar, I have a bunch of clients that I have to service. That's one of the reasons why I won't be able to be on the rest of the day after we get started here with Brother Davis. So if you would like to get in on the conversation with Brother Davis, give him a call, 704-802-5056, and just say, excuse me, Brother Davis will hear you, and let your question or comment be known to Brother Davis. Okay, so everyone, please continue to support Black Talk Radio Network by giving donations to the network so it can continue to do and grow, which you have deemed as being necessary and relevant, so that it will be here in the future. And you could easily do that by going to www.blacktalkradionetwork.com. Follow the prompts. The donation prompt is there. And please give what it is that you can. Financial energy is very, very important. It is just like anything else. You need energy to survive. The network needs energy to survive. So if you would, please, if you are one that listens to Thando Radio Show, or you listen to the programs brought to you by Black Talk Radio Network, please support this network, because without your support, because it is a true grassroots program, and it's a true grassroots organization. Without your support, it will not be here. And so we need to make sure that this network is secure by the end of this year so they can move forward, add new programs, add new technology, add new opportunities. So definitely that is something that you all should be, those that listen, should be partaking in. Please do not be one that eats the fruit and not feed the roots. The roots of Black Talk Radio Network definitely needs to be nourished by you. Also, you can support the network by being a part of its social media outlet known as BTR Community. And BTR Community is a social media outlet that was put together by the network for your overall social media activities. So if you would do that, you could do that by going to www.btrcommunity. Sign up there is only $24 a year for 1 year. $24 for 1 year will get you a membership, and it's the only place that I post, and there's a lot of great things that are posted there, so that is another way that supports this network, okay? So now, with that being said, also, if you're interested in acquiring real money, you can go to Prosperity Mint. So gave that, but I don't want to take up too much time for Brother Davis, and not only that, I have a meeting that I have to prepare for and to get ready for. Okay, so now let's jump into what's in the news. But before we do that, I want to just say big ups to my man, Jenna and Raj. They carried Friday's show. They took care of, Monday and Tuesday show. Today's Wednesday. So I just want to say thank you. No, Monday I didn't have a show. I don't think they took care of Monday's show. But they took care of yesterday's show, Tuesday. They took care of Tuesday, and they took care of last Friday. Roz and Jenna, thank you for filling in for me and making sure that we had a show for Thando Radio Show. A lot is going on in the world. I will catch you all up. I should be completed in a lot of my business duties that I have after this week. Going into next week, I'll be done, and there's a lot of things that's going on in the world that you need to know and be prepared for. A lot, man, major things. So we got a couple of shows that's already ready for you. So let's jump into what's in the news before we get into Wise Wednesdays with Brother Davis. First article I posted from ABC News. Kim Jong-un willing to suspend nuclear and missile testing, Seoul says. Update, March the 7th. North Korea leaders Kim Jong-un has agreed to hold a landmark summit meeting with South Korean president next month and impose a moratorium on nuclear and missile tests if his country holds talks with the United States. So that article is there. I definitely see that there's a lot of play that could be here. It could be a ploy. It could be. I don't think it's going to actually happen. I think it's all going to be sabotage because they're going to continue to move forward with the overall war. So check out that article. Next article from Fox News. White House. This one's from Lying Like a Fox News. Gary Cohen, White House Chief Economic Advisor, to resign. And that was yesterday. He resigned and was over the tariffs and everything else. And I'm going to tell you, that is nothing more than a trade war that's going to turn into a shooting war. So significant things is happening. And one of the things that I wanted to express to you all on that, have to be careful of that because, be aware of what's going on there because it looks like the celebrity figurehead Trump administration, next article I posted was from Newsweek, reasons why John Bolton is unfit. John Bolton is unfit to be Secretary of State. This was from an article from last year, late last year, but I brought it back up because there's actual people that are there is an actual push to try to get Bolton into the celebrity figurehead Trump's administration. And let me tell you why that's so important, because he is a true war hawk and can really see that where that direction is going to go. And that's something that you need to know. Next article.
Hey, Dave, I would say more than that. That dude's a psychopath, man. But
he is a psychopath, Scotty.
I mean, hell, it's a bunch of psychopaths in Washington, D.C., but he is one that I had my eye on or known about for quite some time.
Yes, and Scotty is absolutely right. He is a sociopath and a psychopath all together, and there's a reason why I think that would facilitate the overall. Those are the moves that are going to happen before the next major false flag into the war move that happens. So check out that article. Next article from the Daily Beast. Netanyahu meets Trump in D.C. This was yesterday. Investigation is close on both of them. And I think that this is all a part of, remember I said the purge. So check out that article. Next article, I got this one from Sputnik News. This was from celebrity figurehead Pence. U.S. won't change its North Korea policy despite Pyongyang's openness to talks. The United States will not change its firm position on North Korea until Pyongyang takes concrete steps to give up its nuclear program. Despite an offer to conduct negotiations, this is what celebrity figurehead Pence said. Now, it's so funny. They want to have, they want to tell this country that they can't have nukes while they have it and others. It just doesn't make sense at all. So check out that article. I don't think that this thing is going to hold and it's going to really spring forth because it's actually really setting up for them to say, see, there was never any real sincere intentions for this, and now we got to move into a more forceful act, and that forceful act is the act of war itself. So check out that article. Oh, and let me just tell you, I'll get to it in a second. Next article. I do that sometimes. New York Times, Putin praises Trump, then says the U.S. political system is eating itself. So check out that article. Came from the New York Times, and it says basically, I made some exaggerations. The action-loving Russian leader said with a grin when talking about fishing. You can exaggerate, as he was saying. You can exaggerate your catch. Asking jokingly about the interview, he was trying to recruit. This article is messed up. Let me pull up what it was really about, because sometimes they have the underline and it won't make sense there. So here, let me read you this real important. This is from today from the New York Times. Russian President, I always say celebrity figurehead, Russian President Vladimir Putin lavishly praised celebrity figurehead Donald Trump, but added that he was surely disappointed with the U.S. political system, saying that it was eating itself up. Speaking in a series of interviews on a Russian state television, which was including a documentary release on Wednesday, Putin described Trump as a great communicator. And then he has in parentheses, I have no disappointments at all, Putin said when asked about the U.S. president. Moreover, on a personal level, he's a very good impression of me. He's made a very good impression on me. So, but if you read the article goes on, it also talks about how they're preparing for nuclear war, and says that the U.S. government is actually the political system is eating itself, and that's going to be the force for war. So check out that article. I don't have time but I will later. So check out that article. Next article got from Press TV. Turkey calls on the U.S. to stop YPG from moving into Afrin. And that's in Syria. That is the overall war that's going to jump off there. Next article, this one comes from Europac. Trump is playing with fire on trade. And this is from Peter Schiff. And I would say to you all, if you don't know who Peter Schiff is, I'm going to bring a little more information about the Schiff. We've had some stuff about Peter Schiff and the Schiff family would happen. The actual, so I will bring that later. So check that out. So check out that article. He's saying that Trump is playing with fire and is going to cause for war. So check out that article. Next article comes from, I posted this one from CNBC. Amazon could be the third biggest U.S. bank if it wants to be. So there's a move that they probably will move in that direction. Another critical article from Sputnik News. U.S. to impose new steel aluminum tariffs very quickly, Treasury Secretary said, and they're going to be coming out tomorrow with that article.
Hey,
Next
Dave.
article. Yeah, go ahead, Scotty.
Quick note on Amazon. Amazon's owned by Jeff Bezos, right?
Yes.
All right. I saw a couple of articles coming out about him, and oh man, this dude is filthy rich, man. It don't make no sense. But here's something that could facilitate that. That's not getting a lot of attention. some Democrats, you got about 12 Democrats working with Republicans to roll back the regulations that was put in place after the 2008 global financial almost crash that was caused by the banks here in the United States. So now Donald Trump's administration with 12 Democrats are going to roll back that Dodd-Frank regulations that was put in place in 2010. So that could facilitate Amazon, opening up the door for them to become a quote unquote lender.
Yeah, it definitely sure can, Scotty, and that's huge, and we're going to have to follow up on that. I'm going to follow up on that, Scotty, and if you get some stuff on it, we'd have to, because that is huge, because they're going to be rolling back a lot of things as we move towards this surprise economy, well, I would just say the rug being pulled out from it very, very soon. So check out that article. Next article, almost done here. This one comes from National Economic Editorial. Federal government gives $2 billion if businesses hire aliens over Americans. So check out that article, and it's all a part of what I would like to say, the purge, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, there was, real quick, and I wanted to say something. I asked Rise on Monday to post a picture that I took when I was on a commute early morning Dallas. And it had, if you look at the picture, it had a bunch of armored personnel carriers that was moving through downtown Dallas on the rails, and this overall military convoy was huge on the rails. It is no mistake. These things are setting up for what I definitely would say is the prep for the overall World War III that will turn into global nuclear war I, that won't destroy the planet at all. Will just cause for another major war to be fought, so that overall more control can be gained in the depopulation program. So we'll have some other things on that. So without further ado, Brother Davis, I believe, is in queue, ready to go for Wise Wednesday. Brother Davis, if you're on, I just want to thank you and Sister Davis for Wednesdays, and the floor is all yours, Brother Davis.
It's always good to hear the voice of a friend, my brother.
Always good to hear the voice of a friend. Thank you so much, Brother Davis.
You're more than welcome. Good evening, brothers and sisters. And tonight, we're going to open up the door to our self-awareness and why. Because all the stuff that's going on around you is being done for a reason. It's to terrify you. Because when you're terrified, you submit, and they know that. And the reason why they're operating in the manner that they're operating is because they're setting things up. Perfect example is the fact that you got somebody like Trump in the White House. The dynamics are in place. So we can't get caught up in all that crap. If you think about it, if you pick up the telephone and could call Trump directly, what difference would it make? So the difference that you got to be in your lives. We're coming into a new season, y'all, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm excited about it because spring brings renewal. And renewal brings optimism, and optimism should literally bring us to a point where we're setting goals so that we can accomplish things in the coming year. And the reason why I'm pointing it out this way is because literally we have to take control of our lives. I've been saying it for a while about being true to yourself. The system is operating. The system is looking for the weak. When you're true to yourself, you know who you are, what you stand upon, and what is important to you. They're looking for people that they can walk and say, "Ooh," they run and hide. It's a difference. And the reason why I'm focusing on it from this standpoint, because after all this is said and done, it's going to be a lot of work to be done. And we can't have people who are afraid to get in. I sit down, and we've talked many times about what do we do with our resources and what is important to us. I even mentioned to you how it's important to give into Black Talk Radio because of the purpose it serves in the community. I don't tell you that because I don't do it. But here's what's on my list of goals this year. In my charity column, everything that I come across that is black, it's going to be an opportunity for me to make a contribution. Why? Because we have already demonstrated that there's a great need. We've already demonstrated that people are cutting each other's throats because they're trying to battle for that dollar. We have to demonstrate that we care about each other. And I don't care if you look at your list and it's all exclusively black. It's not important. What's important is that you understand that there's a certain amount of what you do or your resources that you should be investing in. They consider them charities. I don't consider them charities. I consider them a necessity. Black Talk Radio is a necessity. Us helping each other is a necessity. Us performing feats of change is a necessity. What is a feat of change? Just to be able to go out and talk to your neighbor. See if he's a like-minded thinker. That sheet to find out if you're a like-minded thinker. See what's in his treasure chest, and he can examine what's in yours. You know, you may be an accountant that has a full schedule, and this guy might have a friend who has a business but don't know how to run it on that level. Just through conversations, you got to be able to make a connection that will help both principles. That is also an aspect of giving. We have to open the door so that our spirits can soar. If not, they'll stay closed in and fear what's outside. Believe me, that's what the system's designed to do. That's what the program is all about. So this year, when we start sitting down and really examining the things that we want to do this year, we literally put in, under charities, an investment of our resource, a investment of our time, and even if it's just mentorship, make that investment. Because I'm going to tell you something. That adds to you. That gives strength to your purpose. When people see that you're sincere about what you say, they're more than likely to pay you some attention. Interestingly enough, my wife and I were doing some things, and I was saying how, you got to find somebody who has good footing and good foundation that's doing the things that you're interested in. So you can not only have an example, but you can literally see if what you're doing is on track with what you're trying to achieve. And one of the ladies in the back said, he makes a lot of sense. Another lady said, well, you know what? I would follow his insight. The lady said, why is that? She said, because you see that woman right there? That's his wife. If she'll follow him, that's an example. Would you follow a man whose wife didn't believe in him enough to follow him? And I thought that was powerful. I mean, think about that. This is a person you don't know who's making a connection with how they would deal with your thought process, whether you're rendering a service or offering them an opportunity to come and be a part of. Then they're saying, you know what? If his wife is following, I'll follow him because she knows him better than anybody else. I mean, it's strange logic, but it's true. And these are the things that we don't know that are going on in inner circle conversations. Why? Because we're not a part of them all. We're not supposed to be a part of them all. But for something like that to come into your realm of identification, I thought that was a powerful, powerful concept. Because here was a woman who didn't know me, who must have been married at one time or another. Or maybe she just has a group of friends and this is the philosophy. But whatever it is, when you think about it, it makes sense. And this is what we're moving into. We're moving into a time where we really have to start making sense of what our truths are so that we can follow our truths and not get caught up in the surroundings. Because the surroundings their programs are still running full blast. I was coming in the house today and I seen a commercial on TV about some place called Dick's. They got a pulled pork burger with all this fixings and trimmings and everything. And they had a brother there smiling while he bit into it. So their program is working 24/7. Don't get me wrong. There are people out there who like pulled pork and that commercial is going to lower them, and that's fine. But literally, when you look into the truths, that may not be how you want to spend your money that day. But because they're constantly advertising, that advertiser's drawing in a certain amount of dollars. I'm trying to point out that they know what they're doing. And that's why I'm trying to point out that the only way we know what we're doing is when we focus on our truths and make that the primary. Because that way we can be able to take a greater control because we're starting to service ourselves first. So now we're coming into the new season. I told you one of the things that's going to be on my list to do is I'm going to offer what I have. And when I say offer what I have, it's not going to be like a primary for me every month, make sure I do this, make sure I do that. But if I have the resources that much, I want to have a list of places that are suitable for me to make that type of offering. Because that's also a universal principle. You see time and harvest, that is a universal principle. Why? Because there are seasons, and when you plant in new seasons, then you benefit from the harvest in the harvest season. Although they might seem like they're principled and they make sense, these are just tools for you to operate with so that you can begin to identify your truths. And when you begin to identify your truths, watch out. Because now you stand firmly on a foundation that you can not only identify, but you selected it to be structured the way it is suitable for you. And as you grow, you're going to add to that. I seen two young brothers. They was walking by each other, and then they crossed their hands across their chest. I said, I stuff in my car. I said, yo, man, y'all go see the Black Panther. They fell out laughing. Man, they started talking about how exciting it was. About maybe 10 to 11-year-old guys, you know what I mean? So I said, y'all don't realize this, but y'all the first generation of Black Panthers. They said, first generation of Black Panthers? I said, yeah, because you are beginning to identify a connection that was to a movie, or you would have never saluted each other like that. And they just looked at me because guess what? They never thought about it from that perspective. But however we get a wake-up call, whether we like the means or not, we're going to start utilizing these things. So I asked him, I said, well, how often did you see that? Oh, man, that's big as school now. Y'all seeing the dynamic here? Because one day they're going to ask, I didn't quite understand this, I didn't quite understand that. What are the spiritual principles? What's meditation about? Do they take him to his past, and do they do anything? All these questions we have to be prepared to answer. Because I'm going to tell you something. When all of this stuff starts jumping off, the glue that's going to bind you is your truth to yourself, because then you can organize where you are, what you need, and what your next step is. Period. So it's important that we take and have an understanding of what our personal truths are so that we don't be blown away by any wind of doctrine. And then you're going to get in. You're going to get in. Your heartstrings are going to be pulled on. You see, there's a lot of things in motion that we can't stop. So we got to prepare ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually as best we can while we got time. And the sad part about it is that some people have been so victimized by the system that they just accept it. The sad part is they don't know they can change that. I got a sister with high blood pressure. And I'm saying, we could change this. Well, I take my pills. But what if you can't get them? Oh, we ain't going to run into that. See, some people are shut off to the truth of what is going on around us, because if the system changes and they can't get them, they're the victims. They're front-line victims. Front-line victims. And they know that there's a lot of them out there. Think of you. You think about it. How many people do you know is going to be affected if all of a sudden the government says we're putting all of our resources into the war effort and we're not? We no longer have Medicare. We no longer have Medicaid. We no longer have food stamps, and we might start those programs up 2 or 3 years. How many people do you think that's going to affect? These are the reasons why we have to take full control of our truths and live that way. Live according to how it's going to structure you to be the person you need to be for your family and for yourself. We hear about it all the time. You know, Dave's letting you know they up to something. They up to something. I don't want you to think for a minute that you have to be helpless. And this is why I do Wise Wednesday, because I know the power of us as beings. I can't help you develop yours. I can help you understand the importance of it. I could help you probably find materials that would help you become more aware of it. But you have to literally practice. I'm telling you from personal experience. When I tell you, when I talk to you about meditation, I'm not talking at you. I'm doing it with you. And when I'm talking about my experiences, and I say, well, the phone lines are open, call with yours. Because somebody out there that may have not experienced the same thing, but something similar, and your conversation will be just enough to stimulate them to pick up the telephone. When I talk to you about food, and how we should be reading labels, and how we should be re-examining our diet to see what makes us the healthiest, I'm not talking to just you. I do this every day. Believe me, there are some days I go hungry because what is out there for me to eat, I'm not going to eat. And then there are other days where what I need to eat is plentiful. And I'm looking down the line. Why? Because if I don't prepare, then I get victimized. So I'm fortunate to have someone, when they go shop, they shop in reference to what I'm trying to do. They might buy some dried nuts and some dried fruit, and they'll buy something to snack on that will edify my body or add to my body. When I leave here to go to work, I always got me a bottle of water. I always got me a bag with something to munch on in it. Or I might have a sandwich or something, or just some cut-up fruit and vegetables. Because I'm preparing for my day so that I can eat the way my truth wants me to eat. Because that way I can be a greater tool if I need to tap into something greater than myself. Let me repeat that. So that way I can be a greater tool if I have to tap into something greater than myself. And you will, because I'm going to tell you, people are going to pull on your heartstrings. Oh, yeah, buddy. You're very, very, I see it every day. And if something changes, what are they going to do? Is there something in somebody in queue?
Hey, how's it going, brother, baby?
It's blessed, man. I'm a blessed brother. How are you?
Man, life was real good. Life was good. I'm sitting here grabbing a moment and listening to you like I always do. But I just wanted to say that, man, life is so full of so many different dynamics. And it's just a blessing to be able to, hear your voice and hear others like you to keep us on point so that we know, what we can do in life.
Okay, hold on, brother. Before you go any further, could you introduce yourself and tell us where you're calling from? I know you, but I'd like the brothers and sisters also to get to know you.
Well, this is Ellis. I was just calling from St. Louis and just reaching out for my brother and just listening to him because, there's just so many different dynamics in life and so many different things that are pulling on us all the time. It's so good to be able to take control of that and to find ourselves, especially like you were saying, through meditation. Sister called me the other day, and she was just thanking me for having a platform where you spoke on about meditation that she really elevated and really made a breakthrough in realizing that tragedy with her child, when her child was taken from her, how much of a blessing it was in the sense that that's how she found meditation.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm humbled, brother. I'm humbled. You know why? Because literally she's taken her life lesson through meditation and elevated herself. And really this is what I'm trying to tell everybody that we can tap into. And everybody has a personal relationship with their meditation. So, yeah, would you like to add some more, brother?
Oh, absolutely, man. We can chop it up all day, man, because life is a blessing. And that's where we're at in the season, really, is connecting the dots. And, you know, a lot of people are coming to me. You know, I've had different people talk about the experience with That's not me, by the way. Yeah, that's not me.
Okay. So, people, please mute their phone because we're getting Earth, Wind & Fire in the background. Okay, Brother Alice, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
If there was something that you could give somebody as a seed for them to start focusing on understanding the importance of their personal truth, what would you give them?
I would give them the seed of self in fulfillment, you know, self in the fullest. Your fullest potential, I would give you the power to know yourself to the full, I want to say to the fullest, but that's not a word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
You know, to be fulfilled, to fulfill your purpose, to fulfill your essence, to climb to your highest heights now, not waiting till you know, mature to that point, is such a beautiful thing. And that's one of the most beautiful things that was taken from us as a people, because family, you know, one of the most valuable things that we have as far as each other is family. And to be able to pass down the family jewels, the family secrets, the family recipes, the family steps to do to financial success, you know, that connectedness is something that was taken from us. And so basically we are a village, a nation of shattered families with their past taken from us, trying to make sense of today. And today is not in the reality of where we come from or who we are or what we represent. And so it's really a challenge to be able to live the way we live, speak the language that we speak, and not speak our old language, our native language, you know, culture, not to be embraced with our culture every day as babies coming up and understanding all of the stories. You know, we missed out on that. And if I had the power to bless somebody with one seed, it would be not the seed of money, not the seed of wealth in the sense of, you know, being able to do what you want to do, but the seed of knowledge, to know thyself, to know who you are. We all special. Man, I got so many lines and I want to say I'm a pure black man, but I'd be lying.
Yeah, well, I understand.
You know, I'll be lying because I know my history, man, and, you know, all different lines come through me, but I do know my essence, and the power and the strength within me comes from Africa. You know, we talk about lines and feeds that supply us to give us strength to move forward. Man, that African seed, boy, you can't deny Africa. So the strength to know thyself, to know thy history, and to be able to utilize. That's the key, Brother Davis, right there.
Absolutely.
Not only to know thyself, but to know what to do with it, and to know how it helps you to build your character and to build your family and just create an essence of togetherness, growth, and a force field, a shield against the foolishness of the world.
Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, man, I always look back at the shaping process. Because the shaping process is the foundation on which we move forward. So that's why I'm doing tonight's show is going to be focusing basically on the new season that's coming, what we want to accomplish this year, what our goals are. And let's not look out the necessity of seed time and harvest, because literally those are the things that are going to allow us to look into a future that we can plan on being there. And understand how I say that. We can plan on being there. Because once again, these things that are going on outside of us are outside of our control. So we have to work on that we have control over. And that way we can be able to be truthful with ourselves when these situations arise and make the best decisions that are suited to service us through our truth. Well, listen, brother, I appreciate you adding to the show, man. Is there anything you want to say before we move forward?
Man, I got all kind of stuff to say, man. I just want to say peace and love to the people, and thank you so much for being such a powerful influence in the community, and that, you know, to veg you forward on what you're saying. It's just a good season to be able to connect the dots and to move forward, and for all of us to be empowered in what area that we're in, and don't worry about our religions. Take from your religion the essence that you can get from it, and keep it pushing. Study, know thyself, know your history, man. Are you kidding me? We have such a beautiful history. They lied on us so tough, Brother Davis. I want to cry, man. I want to cry. These people have lied on us and have jaded such a beautiful history, such beautiful time spent on this planet building and creating heights that man cannot even understand today. We are living on the end of disaster. I mean, it's been disastrous from where we have been in history and done, and the heights that we have been, and the galaxies in which we were connected to where we are now. Are you kidding me? Terrible.
Hey, Brother Davis.
Brother.
Hey, brother, what's your name again out of St. Louis?
This is LSI, my brother. Who is this?
This is Scotty.
Scotty.
Greetings to you. I just want to thank you for your words, because you kind of just did, you did edify something in my spirit when you talk about taking the essence from something. I, like you, know my family history as well and know the different lines, but the essence is Africa. And I never heard, or African, but I never heard anybody frame it in those terms. And that just really nails it, how I feel. You know, I'm not one to deny, you know, any of my bloodlines, but I identify with my African bloodlines because that's the essence, you know, that I feel. And then also what you just said about religion. You know, I look at these people who stay all day bashing black folks about Christianity. Then you have those who bash black folks about Islam, or, you know, if they're not practicing a traditional African religion, then they're getting bashed for it, you know. And I just feel like, you know, leave those people alone. All right. You know, I take from what I can, you know, that resonates with me from wherever that source is, because I recognize truth when I read it, no matter what the source is. And if it resonates with my spirit, you know, and then I try to hold on to that essence of whatever that teaching is. But thank you again for your edifying words.
Hey, Brother Scotty, man, appreciate that, because, I mean, we ringing the same bell. For instance, went to see the Panther the other day for the fourth time, and I'm really excited about finally being able to be happy about a movie that's got an all-black cast. You know, it's like a dream to me, but it's reality in today's time. So, you know, all-black cast and powerful, you know, get to celebrate my culture without holding my head down. I can hold my head up and celebrate my culture and, you know, just talk about the blackness, even though Wakanda's make-believe, but we all are Wakanda. I mean, and I was talking about a friend earlier, Brother Scotty, too, man. There's like, okay, for instance, because I'm going to be on this Panther thing, okay? And so there's a lot that's called a Panther Challenge. Different people, you know, from Africa all over doing the Wakanda dance and stuff, you know, celebrating our Africanisms. What I love about that movie, man, is that it excites us. If you don't know nothing, you know, it's a lot of people out here that don't know nothing for real. They don't know no history. about who we are. They are African Americans to the T. Shop at Walmart, go to work, come home, go to sleep, feed the dog, hug the baby, get up in the morning and have to go to work again. And pretty much that's life, you know, versus knowing your history, knowing something, you know. I'm just saying being knowledgeable about history, because history is destiny in reverse. There's a word to look up, my brother, and it's called deracination. Deracination. Look it up. You know, do your homework. Look up that word, and it explains us as a nation. Deracination, deracinated, deracinating. You know, those are different. It's the same thing, but it's you know, study. It's us, and we got to do something about that. But I said all that to say that I really like the movie, because people send me stuff about the movie and stuff, and for the most part, I love everything about it, because it opens us up to us. And somebody sent me something, you know, Panther Exposed. And I was like, ooh, what is this all about? And it's the white guy, he's commentating, he's saying, and they talk about their ancestors. Well, yeah, we do connect to our ancestors. And they talk about the power of healing. Yeah, and they do voodoo in the movie. Yeah, that's us. You know, voodoo, hoodoo, whatever you call it, we have the power to manipulate time and space. We have the power. I mean, we are just far beyond a religious connectorization, if I can say that. I don't even know if that's a word, but you know what I'm saying. We are far beyond that. You can't put us inside of a box, because we are the atmosphere around the box. How are you going to put the atmosphere around the box in a box? How are you going to do that? How are you going to put the creator in a box and call him something? How are you going to do that? You know, and for us to be able to think that we can grasp the total understanding of the creations and beyond us, far into the ethers of the heavens, and have a totality of an understanding, I mean, come on. All we can do is to know our history, know one another, and love one another, and be a blessing to one another, create good environment, create good family, create good connections, create good schools. People talk about us all the time. It's on them, but, you know, we need the builders, those who can connect the dots. And that's why I'm focused for 2018 is connecting the dots. Yes, sir.
That's right. That's exactly what we're talking about. So there you go, my brothers and sisters. There's a call in, an opinion. We do like to add to the fact that we like you to call in. We like you to give your opinion. Because although you may not realize it, monologue is contention. I mean, a dialogue is contention, but a monologue opens doors. Because, like the brother just said, something that tweaks Scotty.
Yeah, you saying that backwards, Brother Davis. Pardon me for the correction, but it's dialogue between, you know, more than one. Monologue is just me talking.
Okay, my mistake. I'm moving in my thoughts.
Oh, no problem. No problem, Brother Davis.
But once again, we'd like to encourage you to call Brother Davis on a Wise Wednesday, and we're talking about the preparation of the coming season, and what are we doing? What do we want? What is it that we want to achieve in this new season? Because see, literally, for those people who, should I say, are focusing on their religious aspects or spiritual aspects, this is what's called the renewal. You're coming out of the stage of what is called the dormancy. Now, why is it called the stage of dormancy? Because you're applying the knowledge of all of the things that you learned last year, and then the winter equinox, you start really focusing on how you can move that information into your life, into the coming season. So that's why the solar system has a great effect on our bodies. And for those of you who don't know, did you realize that if you eat fruit and vegetables in season, that you get the maximum nutrition of that fruit or vegetable. Now, understand how I said that, because if it's in season in South America, that's not where you are. You see what I'm saying? It must be in season where you are. For those of you who do know, honey, regular bee honey in the area of the country that you are in is more fortified than bee honey from another part of the country, because that bee honey has the minerals and vitamins that are contextual for the needs of the people in that area or in that environment. And don't take my word for it. I always say do your own due diligence, because that's how you learn. But getting back to the show, I want to encourage you to call in. This is going into a new season. We're really starting to, should I say, break away from the chill, especially when you feel in areas where winter is prevalent, and you're going into the sunshine, and pretty soon the flowers will be budding and that sort of thing. All of the water in the mountains and that sort of thing will be melting down, and you'll get that excessive overflow of water. Now, a lot of people may not pay much attention to that, but we should, because guess what? That's one of the wars that we're under right now, too. We're going into this season. We're going to be into water wars this year, where people are going to be battling for access to water for not just individuals, but whole cities. So, in understanding oneself, you understand what is important to you and the role that that importance plays in your truth. And we want to be able to say to ourselves, I did the best I can with what I was working with. In order to do that, we need to set goals. We need to strive to reach those goals. And don't set a goal that's totally out of our reach, because you could get disgusted in trying to reach a goal that may be 6-8 months down the line. Reach a goal, set a goal up that you might take you a month, maybe a month and a half to get to, so that you can measure yourself along the way. And always examine your emotional state in the path of trying to reach that goal. Why? Because sometimes emotion is the obstacle that gets in the way, based on any number of things. It could be another person. It could be an opinion that you heard. It can be your frame of mind at a different time, because it can take your momentum away. And some days, that's okay. It's okay to lose momentum as long as you don't stop. Because when you stop, then all of a sudden your goals loses its importance. I put my goals on my computer. Why? Because I'm serious about that. And it's in a number of different areas. It's just not one area of my goals. And the reason why is because I got plans. I got vision. So when you got plans and you got vision, my goal this week, perfect example. I want to go to the RV show. It's about 13 miles away. And it's on this weekend I can get there. So that's one of the goals. It may not seem like much, but the reason why it's a goal is because I want to get there for what's in my plan. And it may offer some ideas so I can really thicken my plan up. I also want to be able to take my grandchildren with me. But, understand, they have schedules too. So if that doesn't fit their schedule, I take what I can. If not, so be it. But this is about the process. And if you really keep your goals in mind and measure yourself when you get there, measure those things that try to be obstacles in your way, and then dialogue them to yourself so that later on you can come back and reread that, see how you dealt with that given incident based on how you wrote it. And that gives you clarity if that ever rises again or if anything similar crosses your path. Because one thing about writing a dialogue is that you're telling your truth of what happened with you at that point, of what you did, and the outcome. And that's how we grow internally. It may not mean anything to anybody else, but when you can sit back and reach that goal and then go over, I'm telling you from personal experience, and go over some of the entries you made in your logs. Oh, I remember that day. Yeah, I remember this. Oh, I remember when that happened. That affected not only me, it affected my wife. And I'm looking at my notes and I'm saying, you know what? That's good. I would achieve this goal to this level now. So I'm going to turn this page, and I'm going to start the next page, and then reaching for the next goal. And believe me, everything is attainable. Everything is attainable. One of my goals this year, this is just mine. Everybody else wrong. Remember I said that. One of my goals this year is anything over the cost of my month, I want to be able to divide in 4 parts. What is the cost of a month? Well, the cost of my lodging, my insurances, my vehicles, all these things, after they're all paid for, whatever is left, I want to split the 4 parts. One part I want to set aside to say, this is a savings. Another part I want to just sit back for recreation for when I got my grandchildren. Another part, I want to be able to sit back for a rainy day. And that 4th part is going to be what I give to charities, because I want to make this a part of my life. So I'm shopping charities now. Now, I know, I can tell you already, I'm going to be upping my stuff to Black Talk Radio because it's a personal purpose I received here. Not just only because I have a show, but because I'll get so much from it. And then I'm going to be looking at those things that places like Black Talk Radio are supporting. And see, that means that as a person who's partaking of the goodness and the fruit from the show, they're looking for people like us who, when they do have campaigns, can make a contribution. It may not be much, but if it is, I want to have an ear for it, and I want to have resources like, okay, this would be a good place to go ahead and do that work. Because if we don't do it, there's nobody in line. I always have my wife said, why do you always say you're at the head of the line? Because if no one else does it and you do it, at least you was at the head of the line. The best part is that the feeling that you get when you hear the result of what that specific activity was. And if they have a positive result, you made a contribution. If they have a negative result, you did the best you can. It's a win-win scenario to me. And this is how we have to do going into the future. Look, we're coming up on a break. This is Brother Davis on a Wise Wednesday. This is an opportunity for y'all to call in, voice your opinion, and add to the show. Don't forget, this is Black Talk Radio, and we bringing you what most media outlets won't touch. So, be by your phones, pick us up, join us, call. Let us get a dialogue on Wise Wednesdays with Brother Davis.
Tuned in to the Black Talk Radio Network. For podcasts and live program scheduling, visit us on the web at blacktalkradionetwork.com. Make Black Talk Radio your choice for digital black radio. New black media for the new millennium.
Okay, welcome back. This is Brother Davis coming back at you. And I'm going to tell you, we're in a season of change and transformation. And this show is basically about how and what people are doing in order to be able to set those goals and reach those goals and become closer to themselves and identifying the truths in their life that they would like to see blossom from their efforts. And I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be the real deal around here because, we're making transition now to get out on the farm full time. And when we do, this changed the whole dynamic of this season altogether. Right now, we might have close to 3,000 or 4,000 seedlings preparing for the season, and we're starting to plant those down on the farm. So it's an entirely different identification for me because I'm doing this here not for what I can get out of the farm. I'm doing this here so that I can teach the next generation the importance of being able to grow your own food. I'm experiencing this for myself. And we have one of my brothers are taking a course in organics. Why? Because we want to make it sure that we could project and teach this in its most purest form. And it's only one of the avenues that we really plan on doing and this course of action that we're taking. And listen, we have come across some serious obstacles. But you know what? We decided to focus on the solution and not get caught up in the obstacle. because obstacles are always going to come. Solutions are what you make happen. And this is one of the seasons that we're going to focus on it this year. And I'm going to tell you, from putting up the high tunnels to building plant boxes, it's a full-time job. It's such an act of love. And then when you get to a point where you're seeing the harvest, you're watching these seedlings, they're sprouting up, and they're all in different areas, different fruits, different vegetables. I'm telling you, this is a neat place to be. And I'm going to tell you, these mornings down out here are full of sunlight and green. It's a blessing. Is there someone in queue?
Yes, Brother Davis, this is LSR from St. Louis again.
Yeah, Brother LSR.
Yeah, you were talking about the, planting and that type of thing, and it just behooved me to ask you. I'm trying to think of what's the best time to plant something here in the Midwest, because, our weather is like today. It was like 60 degrees this morning, and now it's like 32 degrees. So when we plant stuff, the plants don't know what to do because our weather's so crazy. So what type of crop is good for that type of weather, and when is a good time for us, like in the Midwest, to plant? Because, like I say, the plants is, the weather's all over the place, and so you can't plant stuff because it'll die. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean, man. But you know what's so unique about that? Each area of the country has different fluctuations. So I found that it's best to, and this is an old school concept, but most people who are in farming, they get the Farmer's Almanac at the first of the year. Because the Farmer's Almanac literally targets regions and what is good for that region depending on the fluctuation of weather. And one of the best things about that is that you could literally target the region of the country that you're in. So, I mean, if you just want an old school method, I would say you go to the Farmer's Almanac and read in, because it talks about the weather and what is expected out of it in that region and what would
now,
do
is that
good.
Something that you can get off the internet, or do you have to get the Almanac's book?
Oh, actually, you can get it off the internet. I've seen it sold at Walmart. I've seen it also sold at neighborhood drugstores, and that's
feed stores as well. When I say feed stores, I mean like the stores that sell seeds and sell you stuff related to agriculture. That's what we call them around here. We call them feed stores.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. Since you're on here, Scotty's a good person to ask too, because he's in a farming region, and a lot of times he can pick up. Give us some things that you can pick up that may seem to be ordinary around where you are, but may not have been noticed by somebody in the area he's in.
I'm not sure I understood the question. Could you repeat it?
I said, can you give us a tidbit of information that may be very common where you are, because in the region you're in, farming is prevalent, that he may have available to him but not even noticed it because he didn't understand the value that it may give. Say something like a display of heirloom seeds. See, a lot of times people fail to realize the quality of the seed has a lot to do with what they're trying to grow too. So is there a small fact that you can give us that literally he could possibly use in his toolbox, or something that you've been so used to that you haven't given a second thought? Everybody does it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. I'm not sure where that background noise is coming from, but we're getting a lot of background noise off of somebody's line. Be honest with you, Brother Davis, I am not a farmer. Okay, now I will help my cousin when he asks me to, or, the guy across the street, he don't too much ask me for stuff. He just brings the food that he grows and leaves it on our back porch. But I have started saving, because he uses heirloom seeds. So when he brings us cantaloupe, or he brings us tomatoes, or squash, or whatever he is, we have started saving those seeds and putting them up and whatnot. But my advice to him is to get with local farmers, because they could tell him better than I can, you know what I'm saying, about his region.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You see, that's the tidbit.
Yeah, that's a good advice, too. All I needed to do is go down to the farmer's market and ask the boys that's been doing it, and they know. You know, so that's
Absolutely.
good advice. I appreciate that.
You see, one thing about Black Talk Radio, you don't know what you're going to get, but when you realize that you could use it, it's good. And this is how it functions for a lot of people who just, what's this about, and turn it on. Because I've heard people say to me on a number of occasions, you Black Talk, man, I didn't know that you were on there. Well, the whole thing is, did you ever turn it on? Well, I've seen it, turn it on. But what time are you on? It don't make a difference for time. I'm on at 6 to 8 on Wednesdays, but turn it on anytime you see it. There's so much contextual information there. You know, people always talk about, well, do they have this? They turn it on. They talk about blacks in business. They talk about the current events. They talk about the prison. They talk about abolition. They talk about plethora of things. And the sad part about it is that a lot of people, when they see Black Talk Radio, they assume something. I always tell them, stop and turn it on. What do you got to lose? You got time to lose the radio, or you wouldn't be looking. Everybody who does come here finds something of great interest to them somewhere along the line. Getting back to the show, I'm going to tell you, this has turned out to be a powerful show because literally it keeps coming back to us preparing ourselves for the new season, what we're doing and that sort of thing. And literally we're planning on growing so that we can add to. See, a lot of people don't realize it, but, you know, one of the main things that we should be, as humans on this planet, we should be doing and enjoying a level of peace, period. Just peace. Because when you can enjoy peace, that means that you're living a life that's uninterrupted. That's why peace comes in pieces. You know, how you get to that point where you just finally get to where you relax, ain't nobody around, the house is quiet, all of a sudden, silence is broken, here goes something else. You see, that peace has become a part of our need process. That's what makes meditation so open to transformation. Do you realize people with high blood pressure that meditate actually control their high blood pressure by just meditating? People who are sick, literally, if they have the understanding of how to direct their life force, can heal themselves. Now, why do I give you that bit of information? Because we have control over our life force, because our life force and our vibration does what our thought process tells it to do. So you got to train yourself. When I say train yourself, you got to train yourself to stay focused. I know some people are sitting back saying, what do you mean train yourself? A lot of people can't stay focused. Remember I told you when you start meditating, all of the windows, your eyes, your ears, your nose, all of these are going to be invaded. Why? Because it intrudes on your peace. You ain't going to mean for it to happen, but it does. Here's the best part. It makes you a greater controller of those things. What do I mean? I mean, all of a sudden, then when you decide you want to take that meditation, you close yourself off. You shut the windows and you control the music. You let it put you in a state of absolute relaxation. And once you get there, you do what you want with your body. Test yourself. I used to get tense in different sitting positions. So I told my energy, go to that place of my tension. Relax it so that I can relax. Now, I know this sounds strange to some of y'all, but this is knowing yourself. Because before you know it, that part of your body that was tensed, you forgot about. Because your energy went there and did the work that it was told to do with your thought process. Meditation is a very powerful tool. I can't emphasize it enough. And leave it in your toolbox and tap into it every day that you can. I know people meditate 3 times a day. They don't have to. But they'll tell you, I'm so at peace when I meditate that I can take control and I have more control. And then they find out the more you talk to them, they're really starting to expand themselves as a person. because they're beginning to realize, I can do this or I can do that. There's a sister who does African dance, tumbuk or something it's called. And literally when she started this, she's educated, but when she started this, she was much heavier. And literally she was attractive, but people have confidence issues. And I could see she had a confidence issue because when she first started, she covered herself totally. So you really got tired in this class because literally with all that stuff on her, you could tell that she was carrying a lot of sweat and all of that. Well, guess what? I looked at her Facebook page this morning because I hadn't seen her, talk to her in a long time, and her mother, my wife and I are real good friends. She might be around maybe 29 or 30. This girl's transformed. You could see the confidence in her picture. And she talks about her testimony, how she started this here path of working out because she wanted to get some weight off, and she was in a position where she was off season, and she as a teacher off season, she wanted to fill that time up. Well, brother and sister, this girl was invited to Jamaica for some kind of workout conference, and believe me, when she prepared to go down there, she put it everywhere, letting everybody know. Her mother went down with her. That's another story, but her mother went down with her. And she said, when you seen these people come out there, you could tell all of them were specialties of what they did. She said they had people there that does the Zumba, then they had the tumbuk, then they had the summer salsa, then they had people there that just do what's called music, just somewhere, music exercises where they're stretching on the floor to music. I'm going to tell you, she talked about all this stuff. But the whole thing she was really stating was she's seen the transformation of her daughter up front. And that was powerful to me. Because I've been knowing this girl since she might have been 13 or 14 years old. So we have a history. But just to see the transformation is a very positive thing. And that's why we're talking like this today, because the transformation is not only going to be a very positive thing, it's going to be a very positive thing for the person who put themselves through that process. You see, we want to set a process in place, and that's what she did. And she said, well, I had my goals. She said, this time I had my goals. Basically, in the beginning, they were set on weight. She said, but as I got better, they were set on time. And then as she got better, they were set on routines. See, she's telling you that as she grew and she reached one goal, she added another and another. And now she's so confident now. I mean, it's a delight just to be in her company. Why didn't you ever talk to her? Because she adds that much to the atmosphere. It's a very beautiful smile. I'm telling you, when I see people like her, I sure hope that when she chooses a man, she chooses one that is worthy of being able to be with someone like that. But you could tell. Her mother was married 30 or 40 years. See, I think, as a matter of fact, her husband might have passed away maybe a year or two ago. But this is her sight. So naturally, when she sees me and my wife, she lights right up because she's been knowing us for so long. But that's the benefit to us, because now we're seeing the whole transformation process from a child to where she is now. And I'm going to tell you, that transformation process is not exclusive to any one person. When you start setting goals for you on any level, and you start hitting those goals, the reward of hitting those goals are going to be internally in your mind, and depending on what they are, they can show externally also. So we really need to be able to grow in truth, and that self-truth that I talk about. And the reason why I say the self-truth is because everybody's truth is different. Some people don't really want to know the truth. They don't. I mean, I know it might sound a little harsh, but you know what? You know them, because those people who want to know the truth, they don't lose focus of their goal, because they want to see that they're getting there. And the best part about that is that truth, where they can sit back and say, well, you know what? 2 weeks ago I was here, And these are the things I dealt with, and now I'm here, and I can look back and see how I dealt with them to get here. So now I know I can reach to the next level. And there's another goal, and there's another opportunity. So we have to really be focused on what we're trying to do going into this next season. Because I'm going to tell you, the things that are going on around us are going to go on around us. I mean, I'm torn by some things, other things are not. I'm preparing for some things, other things I can't. But I don't worry about them because I don't carry stress. My wife would tell you I'm one of the few people, me and you could bump heads all day long today. Tomorrow when I see you, I'm going to laugh and hug, which like nothing ever happened. Why? Because I'm constantly trying to build. And how can I build if you think when you see me, oh, I know you're going to mention yesterday. I don't have to mention yesterday because guess what? Yesterday was yesterday. If we don't do nothing more than part as friends and respect of each other's opinion, then we've accomplished something.
Hey, Brother Davis.
So, yeah, brother, go ahead, speak.
Yeah, man, I was just thinking about what you just said. One thing to be able to identify and to be able to look at truth. But I know with my little fresh eyes that if I would have looked at the world last year with my last year's eyes versus looking at the world this year with my this year's eyes, I would see the same thing, but I would see a different picture. And that's why I was just kind of saying earlier that it just behooves us to get our study on. All our leaders of the past, from Martin Luther King to Malcolm X to Marcus Garvey to, Claude Addison, to everybody that's been talking to us and just pleading with us to get it together, have always been to study, to know ourselves approved so we know what we're looking at. So I just like to say that, 2018 is a real good year for us to really get to know us, from South Africa to Wakanda, from Israel to China, from all over from Egypt, inside Egypt, in and out, and just really understand the different dynasties, the different, like when you read the Bible and stuff, it talks about the king of Egypt. What king of Egypt are they talking about? Aha.
Good point. Good point.
Why did they take that away? Why did they take the dispensations away so that we don't know who they are talking about? Sure, Pharaoh, but which Pharaoh? A whole bunch of pharaohs, whole bunch of presidents. Got a whole bunch of pharaohs. Which one you talking about? So, when you say Pharaoh, who you talking about? What dispensation? Whose side was he on? Was he with the people, against the people, for the people? I mean, our story is such a beautiful one, and we just got to get into our studies so we know, so we be big people. We wear big clothes, you know what I mean? And we won't get caught up in the petty roadblocks that are set before us,
Absolutely. But that comes with a person taking control. And when I say taking control, that means that they want to be the example to the very people they teach. And see, once again, we come back to bringing our truths to whole cycle. Because literally what we do today is going to be reflective in tomorrow. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the show on Prepare for the New Season, because literally educating my children is going to be another attribute. The conversation that we got out of Black Panther that I had with my grandchildren opened up a lot of doors, because a lot of things that they didn't understand, and I said, you know what, they didn't actually tell you, but I could show you. And I took the time, and we talked about the meditation, and I was saying, well, they don't go into give you an understanding the process of getting there. They want to keep the movie moving. And then I talked about meditation. And I said, well, what were the animals on the trees? I said, that's how the ancestors were represented. Well, I didn't know that may not be your experience, but that's the way they were interpreting. So we have to talk to these children so they have an understanding, or they would take this here as how it's going to be, and that may not be. It's just an interpretation. I just wanted to add that.
Well, that's so true, man, because like I say, man, our history goes so far back. And I'm just going to throw this one out there. there's a difference between voodoo and hoodoo, but they're both the same. And they got us scared of both of them, but yet that is us. So to know our history is to know our strengths, to know what we can do, what we can't do, and at the same time not be afraid to discover the greatness within us.
Yeah, well, that's true, but I mentioned, I did a show earlier, and I said about the importance of understanding how our transformation process is when I was speaking in reference to our bodies. And I was telling them, the brothers and sisters, that we have no idea of measuring its great potential. But they do, because they raided the libraries of Babylon and Alexandria all over Egypt. They took that knowledge. And the reason why it was never exposed to us was because there was something in that knowledge that made them realize if these people ever continue to develop themselves according to their birthright, we will never be able to control them.
Ever.
But see, here's the unique caveat. They were busy destroying the physical evidence, but they never gave focus to the intuitive evidence that is placed in the DNA of the people chosen by the Most High. So therefore, there's something that they've missed that literally, I think, they may not have realized it, but they may have uncapped it. And the reason why I say that is because when I see these young kids given the salute from Black Panther, then I see children they're hungry now. You have literally brought enough out for them to become hungry and thirsty. And it is our responsibility to take that knowledge of self and plant it in good ground. That means that we're going to have to take and have classrooms sometime at the dinner table. Classrooms sometime in the backyard just sitting around. And the reason being is because if these kids do not get the truth, they will not develop to be greater than we were. Because, see, you have to understand, at that time during the civil rights movement and everything, Black people thought they had accomplished something with civil rights. But all they accomplished was the ability to spend their money with white people, and now white people suck it all up. And therefore, we couldn't teach the next generation. The only thing we could do is tell them about people. Now we have returned to the position of teachers.
Well, I'm saying, I'm sorry, Brother Davis, but I got a thought here, man, from what you were
saying. Go ahead, man. Go with it.
I'm seeing two different realities here, and I'm seeing that the difference is the melanin component that a person has. And the more melanin a person has, the less likely that person will be naturally deceptive. We grow and we learn different practices, and that's what gets folks in trouble and they go to jail and stuff. No matter how much melanin you have, if you do something wrong, you do something wrong. But I think that a person that has more melanin is less likely to go against his own self-understanding of order versus a person who doesn't have melanin, that connective tissue, that connective essence that connects you to the world. It's easier for that person to cut off somebody's head, to hang a person, to treat somebody like a dog, to cut a baby out of a woman's stomach and laugh, and let their kids run around and cut off body parts and, dress up in their best and go home as families and enjoy the fact that they just cut up a human being and celebrate that. You have to be disconnected to humanity. You have to be disconnected in order to do something like that. And Black people are just not that type of way in reality. So when we're talking about that melanin, that essence, that juice, don't let nobody tell you that you are undervalued, because if you have the juice, you know who you are, stand up, be proud, know your history, don't let nobody twist you, and you set the directive of the day. you set the tone of the day. You set the order of the day, and you set the justice of the day, because justice has to be set by all of us. All of us set justice. How many times have we sat by and allowed stuff to happen and say, well, you know, I got my life to live? But justice is something that has to be served, and as a people, that's what we do, and that's what makes us such a beautiful people. And I heard you say once on your show, it's time to stand up and be proud. Don't worry about what people think of you. You know, don't worry about people looking at you because you're proud of who you are. It's time out for that and time in for you, because you deserve it. You're beautiful, and I'm so giddy and happy to be with my people, and I just look forward to 2018 and beyond.
Absolutely, because I'm going to tell you, they were talking about how people were dressing to go to see Panther. I dress like that every day.
Right.
And people were talking about, well, you know, they went out and did this and they went out and did that, and they're going to see it. And you know what got me about that was people failed to realize this is not a costume. This is not garb. This is the culture I reflect on a daily basis. Do I tell other people to do that? No, because guess what? I only control me. But I always tell people, the way I dress is traditional. If you want to know more, then I can tell you more. But other than
Brother
that,
Davis,
yes.
Brother Davis, it was so funny, man. We was at the movie, and, you know, I had my mud cloth on a certain kind of way. If I do that, I mean, that's just the way I roll. That's what I got in my closet, and I like it. It feels good, and I know who I am. But I was coming out of the movie, and this two older white women were looking at me, and I saw them down there gloating a certain type of way, looking a certain type of way, because I knew I was looking a certain type of way and carrying it like we carry it, you know. And she was like, oh, my goodness, sir, that is such a beautiful outfit. And so I turned to her. I said, excuse me, ma'am, but this is what I wear every day. This is my normal clothing. They laughed and I laughed.
Yeah, but you know, the sad part about that is that in America, they only see the concept of American style. But that's not, American style is not as prevalent over the world, across the world, as dressing the way we traditionally dress. Because a lot of times people fail to realize that the picture that they see only comes from the one that's in the front window. And that's only an area of their life. And if they don't go beyond that, they can't see beyond that. Look, we're coming up on another break here. So I want to give shouts out to people so you can give a chance to call in, add to the content of the show. And after the break, I want to go more in detail into what the benefits are of making transitions that is going to benefit your truth. This is Brother Davis on a Wise Wednesday. Please call. Let's have a dialogue instead of a monologue. We'll be right back.
Black Talk Media Project would like to invite you to become a member of the BTR Community subscription-based social media platform. BTR Community is a platform that was set up for the listening audience of Black Talk Radio Network, the #1 independent black radio network online. For just $24 per year, your subscription gives you access to an interactive space to share information with like-minded people with your privacy guaranteed. Your subscription will go a long way to help us maintain and improve our current media platforms. It will also help provide a budget so that we can begin the task of establishing localized media centers and radio stations across the United States. The best way to show your support and appreciation for what we do here at Black Talk Radio is to subscribe. Help us to help you be informed. Join btrcommunity.com today.
Welcome back. Before we move on, I want to talk about the benefits of setting goals. The reason why is because we have to understand that it's going to require some work on us. Why? Because you're going to do a little due diligence. When you do a little due diligence, guess what? You will stretch your IQ. That's right. And the best part about stretching your IQ, that means that you're learning more, that you can add to your life, okay? And actually, another thing you do is you evoke mindfulness. See, you're mindful of what you're trying to achieve. You get a strong connection between your happiness and your mindfulness. And that's what's so important about journaling. Journaling brings you into a state of mindfulness of that circumstance, whether it was frustration or anxiety, or are you losing your edge or gaining an edge. It's called wandering mind attention. And it's a passive activity that engages your thought process. And a big benefit is achieving the goals. When you achieve your goals, then you can sit back and enjoy the actual reality that the growth process is in full effect. And you can see that you can be ambitious now. Why? Because once you get that first goal, the second goal, regardless of where it's at, and I always say keep them so that you can literally achieve them, but make sure they're a challenge to you. Because then you can consider the path that you're going to get to the next goal. And you want to come up with a concept, a blueprint in your mind, whether you write it down or not. But writing your goals down are signals to your brain that it's important. And when you reach that, you begin to become more detailed in how you want to achieve it now. And the emotional uplifting, my brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you something. There's nothing like achieving a goal and getting the benefit of that goal. Now, I'm going to tell you how simple it is. This is on the most lowest level, okay? When I first gave up meat, and I'm going to tell you, I love fried chicken. When I first gave up meat, I couldn't go a week without breaking down and giving into that memory. Why? Because that memory left a taste in my mouth. See, these are things that all work against you. But I didn't realize the dynamic at the time. And here's the best part. When I got to the first week, the first 7 days, and didn't eat, when I did that, it strengthened my self-discipline. You know why? Because I reached that goal, and now I knew I could do it. See, when I realized I could do it, it improved my communication between my mind and my belly in the process of getting to where I want. What it was doing was, it was healing me. It was healing me from the aspect of I wasn't no longer addicted to something I was trying to break away from. And actually, it sparked my creativity. When I say sparked my creativity, I started thinking, well, I'm not going to go around these places like a Popeyes or a Turkish chicken. You know why? Because literally that was subduing. Until I had the self-confidence of knowing that literally it's not going to bother me no more. These are the things I put in place. This was that spark of creativity so that I could stay focused on what I was trying to achieve. And now my wife, she'll tell you, sometimes she'll say, baby, I'm breaking down. It's your life. You do what you want to do. And then she'll sit down and she'll eat her chicken and she'll say, oh, it's so good, but I feel so bad. Look, I'm not a judge. I only judge for me. And guess what? I didn't eat that chicken. See, it may be small, and I want you to see the simplicity of this. Because literally, that's what you may have to start small. But you can benefit by it. And then when you reach that point where you reach that goal, then you can realize the emotional charge you got, because now you can sit back and look at when you was journaling what you were writing and how, you go in that smell. How you drove the car, that window down. You're trying to stay focused. You rode the car window down, and the smell invades the car. All these things work against you. This is why I'm saying to you that literally put yourself in a position of setting goals. And believe me, as you achieve each level, your benefit to you will be greater and greater. And the best part about that is that you're taking charge again. You are in control again. And you're in a greater position now because guess what? You have conquered what was a truth and changed that dynamic. So these are the tools that become a part of your box, your wherewithal. And then, listen, that was my problem. Yours may be something different. You may decide this year that I'm not going to lose my cool when I go to work. And you know how there's always somebody in the office who either rubs you wrong, got something to say about somebody else, or it barges in the middle of what you're doing this work. You have to be sensitive, but you wanted this to stop. Did you work at that? And believe me, the solution's going to come to you. And before you know it, when they come in and you turn around and give them that look, they're going to turn right back around. Because they're going to realize this ain't a good time. And if that's all that they understand, that's fine. Because they're no longer intruding on your time. So I want you to understand that we are a great people, but we have not begun to tap in to the essence of ourself. Because there's so much more in there. So much more in there that we have to achieve yet. And guess what? It may start with a place where you least expect it, but wherever it starts is a good point to start at. So for all of you brothers and sisters out here who did not take the time to call in the 9, I ain't mad at you. Because if you listen, you got something. And if you got something, then I did exactly what I intended to do with the show tonight. And the best part about that is that it's only going to get better. You'll become a happy manager. You know what a happy manager is? A happy manager is a person that manages their life so well that they can have their joy points. What is a joy point? A joy point might be meditation. It might be you going to an exercise class. You see what I'm saying? You will manage your joy points so that your life is more fulfilling.
Hey, Brother
And
David.
that's the best part. Yes, brother.
Hey, man, I just want to kind of initiate something that everybody that is out here listening, do whatever you can to make somebody smile. We ain't asking, not asking much. Do whatever you can to make somebody smile. When you see somebody, when you come up on somebody, make sure that you leave a positive energy element of yourself, and that will help you to grow. There's a book that was written a long time ago by, what's the guy that wrote Think and Grow Rich? Was it Norman Vincent Peale or
Think and Grow Rich? That's not
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill, yeah.
Napoleon Hill wrote a book, man, that has been very affluential in my life, and I love the fact that I think it can be very affluential in all of our lives, and that's, success with a positive mental attitude. If you can just be positive about any given situation, no matter how ugly the situation is, if you can extract the energy of positivity from that, you're in much better shape than most.
Yeah, you're right about that. I read his book, Interview with the Devil, and that was transforming. Because the book is a whole lot different than it sounds. And just to give you a premise, this guy gets a chance to interview the devil. And he's asking the devil different questions, and the devil is answering his questions. One of the questions that he asks the devil is about politics. He says, well, what is your opinion of politics? He said, that's my playground. This is the devil saying that's my playground. He said, I engineer the world any way I want to in my playground. So the guy says, well, how do you do that? And the devil goes on to talk about, well, people want things, and I can get anything. So whenever I want something, all I do is find out what they want, and I manipulate them with what they want. And they don't know they're being manipulated because I am the devil. Just as you have a good side, you have my side. It brings it down. But the whole thing I'm trying to point out to you is that Napoleon is an excellent orator on interpreting life situations with a clarity that you can understand. Because I'm gonna tell you, when the book to me sounds strange, but too many people, it said to me, "No, Brother Davis, you need to read the book. You need to read the book." And when I read
what was the name of that again?
It's Napoleon Hill's Interview with the Devil.
Interview with the Devil. I've never even heard of it.
I'm gonna say, man, it's gripping. It's gripping because you're getting it from the devil's perspective. He's being interviewed, and you're getting it from his perspective. And he's telling you, "Look, I control the world. Yeah, I control the world through lust. I can get you to do anything I wanted to do." I mean, and literally, he's telling you as an evil spirit. And it's just unique. You have to read the book. And when you read the book, you understand what I say about it being unique. But literally, it tells you how human we are, and how when you don't have control of your truth, you're literally going to be manipulated much more easier because you don't have a tolerance. And wherever you have a tolerance, you're looking for the weakness anyway. Right. I mean, I'm only bringing that out to you because if you want to, it's a good read. A number of good books that I've read that also have nothing to do with the devil, like The Celestial Prophecy. That's a powerful book. For Agreement, that's a powerful book. There's a lot of things out there that and we're going back to that transformation process, if you apply a little bit of due diligence, you will expand your intellectual aspect, part of who you are, to benefit all of the things that you do.
Well, I'll tell you a book, compared to its size, when you think of comparisons, this book is the smallest book that had the most impact on my life. It's the quick read that really got me. Two of them, really. One is it's skipping my mind, where the guy plants seeds with the tree. 10% is the essence of the book. The Richest Salesman in Babylon. There we go. The Richest Salesman in Babylon. That's a quick read, and that's real good, and that helped to change my life tremendously. But the one that really affected me, was Who Stole My Cheese? Man, that's a real quick read. You can read it. You can pick it up and read it right quick. But it's life-changing because it really talks about how on a daily basis we struggle to bring normality to our day. We want cruise control ability. We want to be able to wake up and everything be controlled and no deviations from that control. And that's a beautiful thing because you can go through the whole day and be happy, versus a day where there's just chaos and all your parameters that you set have just been totally interrupted. That's Who Moved My Cheese. And Who Moved My Cheese is a real good book because that helped me to get out of that, because when somebody would mess up my day or, just mess up my flow, I would just be so upset. And, when things that I have built just didn't work out, I would just be so tremendously upset that folks is messing with my vibration, a certain type of way. Whereas Who Moved My Cheese just really kind of helped me to really kind of connect and say, okay, well, here comes this whole tsunami wave of change. How can I embrace it? Aha. When I ride this wave a certain type of way, there's all these new different things, new opportunities, and, so it taught me to how to embrace that change that we do not invite into our lives, but sometimes, when that change comes into our lives, we always ask the Creator to help us, but we don't know how He's helping us. We ask the Creator to help us, and then the change comes. It don't feel good because He's pulling us up from one plot of soil, trying to take us to a whole nother fertile type of soil, and we mad because we left a little dry place, and He's trying to take us over to this moist, nice, sunny area, and we all pissed off that we had to leave our little mud creek,
Yep. You got to be able to identify what is to your advantage and to your disadvantage.
Exactly.
That's a part. That's a part of this process. And see, the best part about it is that it's personal growth. You can do anything in the world, but if you don't grow by it, it's only going to be a momentary joy, a momentary experience. It's like traveling. When you go someplace and you enjoy it for a week and you got to go, but when you possess the knowledge, you can go back and forth anytime you want to. Why? Because you're in control. You don't have to go back to that place in your mind. You don't have to physically be in that place. And that's the strength of this body that we have, the transformation potential of just in the mind. I mean, if we ever get back to a point where we can re-evoke the knowledge of the ancestors from 600 BC, 200 BC, and have the relationship with the universe that they had back then, we would be, just to see us would be transforming. We wouldn't have to say nothing. But that's just the type of power level that we have been deduced to through this stripping of history. When I say the stripping of history that stripped us from who we were to what we are, but they could not touch the DNA. See, a lot of people fail to realize that if all these here places now talk about, give us your DNA, we'll tell you your ancestor, we'll tell you where you're from, that ought to startle you a little bit. Because guess what? There's a whole lot more in that DNA that they're telling you. And the sad part about it is those people who give their DNA away and, I'm from such and such, you're still taking someone's word for it. But they got all your history in that one drop of blood or that swab. And people don't think about that. They think, let's see. Sometimes the way to look isn't the way science is directing you to.
Well, Brother Davis, do you ever do any classes to, like journey to a higher level or journey to meditation? Do you do any type of, one-on-one for, beginners and stuff?
Well, no, but I am working on class now where I'm literally writing down the different experiences, how I've got to that level, the path that I've traveled. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm doing this here because it's going to be an attribute to the school that we plan on doing. That's going to be opening the doors to not only math, science, and arithmetic, but they're also going to be opening doors to the metaphysical transition of the human body. We're going to be doing meditation. We're going to be doing yoga. We are going to be examining the levels and the lengths of our stretch to our past and not to the future. But listen, this is Brother Davis on a Wise Wednesday. We're coming up, I think we're just past the last break. I'm not sure. But listen, this is another opportunity. You got this show. Give us your experience, or even better yet, tell us what you plan on doing and the goals that you're setting in order to achieve that. Because I'm going to tell you something. When people hear it from other people, they realize, I can do that. And the best part about I can do that means they're going to try it. Some people say I can do that and don't do nothing at all. That's the sad part about us, our people. A lot of us say, okay, well, we're going to do it, and then when we don't do it. And you met them. How about the people they say, I'm going to start smoking. But 2 days later, you see a cigarette in their mouth. It's hard to deal with truth and change. But that's what we were designed for. Look at the history of black people in America. It is it's worse than any history of any other people in the world, including the Jews who talk about the Holocaust, but they never talk about the Holocaust or the Middle Passage. So there's a lot of things that literally we are attached to that we will never be able to escape. So let's embrace them and grow by them. We're coming up on the very last break. Scotty, is there another break? As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure. But listen, do click me by your phones. Call in.
No, we're actually approaching the end of the program.
Okay, excellent. Okay, well, listen, we're coming up to the end of the program. I'm hoping that you've been able to grasp some of the information that we gave you tonight. Hopefully, we can be a tool in your box Because I'm going to tell you something. Every time I hear somebody on this show or I listen to this channel, my toolbox is armed, and I'm ready to go out here and make some changes, not only in my life, but wherever I could help other people in their life. This is Brother Davis on a Wise Wednesday. I'm hoping you got something from the show. I thank everybody who allowed me to come into their home tonight by way of Black Talk Radio. And most of all, please consider what I said about giving and put Black Talk Radio on that list. Oh, by the way, also on my list have a Harvest Institute, which is Dr. Claude Anderson's institute, and they literally doing some great things there, too. So, my brothers and sisters, this is Brother Davis on a Wise Wednesday. Thank you for your time, and be blessed.
All right, thank you for tuning in to Thando Radio Show. If we have Brother Braggs in the queue, Brother Braggs, if you would chime us out as we get ready to prepare for New Abolitionist Radio coming up at 8 o'clock p.m. Brother Braggs, do you want to chime us out, please?
Peace, peace.
Peace.
Gold dinar would have had serious consequences for the world financial system, but may also have empowered the people of Africa, something black activists say the US wants to avoid at all costs.
We're slicing cake. We're slicing cake.